I've always loved being on stage. I think
Really?
it's the place where I feel I can be myself more than any other place in the world. It's weird.
Paris every moment of the year. I love Paris. Why, oh, why do I love Paris? Because my love is, because my love is here.
Though because you're in front of people, but I love sharing the stage with the musicians. This relationship is it's like a playground. And there is propositions and exchanges and also the fact that in my humble way I can trigger light that I love that. For me, if people get out of the audience and they say, oh, I feel better. I forgot about my troubles. I think, wow, okay, I did my job. That's what I
Um,
want. That's what I, but yeah, to be on stage for me, yeah, I feel alive. I feel I can do almost anything. And I feel most of all, I think if I, if I'm honest, it's the joy. It's the childhood joy. And
mm.
so, yeah, I've always had this, always. And I never quite knew because it's weird. I'm very scared. I have stage fright, very big, big, big before going on stage. So
Really?
sometimes I'm like, oh my God, can somebody go instead of me, please?
I can't
Why
believe it
am
because looking at you, I mean, there's one video where you sort of enter and the orchestra's there, and you look absolutely at home and
Oh, yeah,
confident.
sometimes also it's in the middle of a concert, and that's so
Oh,
no,
okay.
it's the sometimes it's just right before. It's like, why am I doing this? Why is it? Because I feel I'm filled with doubts or yes, something a little bit unexplainable. But then feeling the energy of the audience, the musicians, and everything, and it also the music it pushes you, and it depends also on the people you work with. And I'm surrounded by amazing musicians. That also gives an energy that is, and also the fact that, yeah, it's the childhood kid in me. It's the joy, it's the sharing, and it's the fact now that I feel so privileged to do what I love
Ça m'aura
as a
pris un peu
living.
de temps, mais ce soir on y
C'est de
est.
la comédie musicale américaine, du jazz, de la chanson française, de la musique yiddish.
Le temps joyeux, le temps des mensonges, le temps frileux ou celui des songes. Ah,
To be able to earn my living by doing what I love, because I've met a lot of people I've heard a lot of people saying that they are waiting, for example, for retirement to start living.
Yeah.
And I think you can. That's what I learned from my childhood. You can die now. You can die in 5 minutes tomorrow. So you better do what you love, or and be with the person you love as much as possible. Because
Exactly.
for me, otherwise it doesn't make sense. And so when I'm on stage, that's also this urgency and this privilege. This moment, nobody's going to take it from me. It's right now, and it's beautiful. Uh, it's very fragile because you never know. You meet an audience, they come from their day, you don't know how they will
Oh, yeah.
feel. That also this extraordinary encounter between two worlds. It's fabulous. It's
Mhm.
unexpected most of the time. You can feel, you
Amazing.
enter the room, you can feel if they are already ready to be entertained or willing to. Sometimes they're like, or that's very subtle, but it's very. I think it's great. Yeah, it's exciting. It's
Well, I think this is something that I never knew, but that many artists have told me is that energy from the audience. You know, I've always thought of the energy from the performer, but many say to me about the energy from the audience.
yeah, yeah. The audience is it's your partner at the moment, at that very moment, and are they willing to dance? Are they willing? Are they won't they be? Maybe they're not. And what do you do with this? Or maybe your energy level is right here, and there's this there, and you have to. Sometimes well, I don't know. I've never fought with an audience. um, Sometimes I fought with an audience. I thought I was fighting with an audience, and then I discovered also what we think we know, or sometimes we think, oh my God, they are not reacting at all. What's going on? And then at the end, they come and they're amazed and they loved it, and because that's the way they are.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so it's up to you not to be discouraged, because suddenly when we were touring Padam Padam, it's the story of Norbert Landsberg. So we were the four of us on tour for a year, and we really met audiences sometimes that were very shy, very quiet. And the day before, we had people laughing and then rejoicing. And when suddenly you have the audience that is so quiet, you're like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. And we would suddenly learn that no, it's just some people it's different, and that's what's fabulous about doing a show over and over and over. That's what also is never boring, is because first of all you keep on working on what you propose, but also every time in front of you it's different. So you have to be ready for this. It's
Well,
different.
yeah, but it's interesting that you say that, because I spoke to the director of the London City Ballet, and they toured in China, and they said that the audiences that they had that experience, but then they realized, but it's the culture, you know, it's
Oh yeah.
how the audience, but and in the end they loved it also, but during the performance they're very respectful and very quiet. And
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you don't know. You take it personally, where it has nothing to do with you. But that's interesting. I love this difference. I performed in Shanghai, and that's true. The during the performance, it was very silent. But then, poof, and
afterwards, yeah,
but yeah. At the moment, you wonder, you
yeah.
don't know what's going on.
And you can't ask.
Are you okay?
But so do you still, what do you still do a lot? Do you prefer musicals? Do you do your own performances?
Oh, since 2005, I've been doing mainly my own stuff, which is with my companion. We wrote shows. My first show was about Judy Garland, because that was the trigger for me, and it toured a long time. We really went all over the world with it. Then we did a show that was called La French Touche. It was the first attempt to do something the more personal possible, which is not hiding behind a theme or a character, but really being oneself with all the influences that you have.
Wonderful.
And then we did this show about Norbert Landsberg. We wrote it, and it has been a huge success here, because everybody knows Padam Padam, everybody knows Mon Manège à Moi, those songs from Piaf, but nobody knows who wrote them and in what circumstances. And the story of this composer is so extraordinary. We had to tell the story. And then we did a tribute to musicals called Broadway Enchanté. And in the meantime, doing these shows, we did also three programs with symphonic orchestras, one on Broadway musical, one on French song, and the last one we created was Eve and Adam. It's an original program. It's in between classical and musical. It's I would say a small opera with two characters and an orchestra, and it's another interpretation of the Even Adam, we just changed the title.